I recently did a video on advanced Lok Sau and mentioned that it was a good drill in which to hone your ability to do multiple follow-ups. While making that video, I found some old footage of ideas for follow-ups that can be done in Lok Sau. So in this video, I'd like to look at some of the ideas shown in that footage, expand upon the importance of multiple follow-ups, and illustrate how you can improve your Wing Chun by applying some basic Wing Chun principles to following up in Lok Sau. In the first video, we established that in the early stages of training, Lok Sau is useful for programming your body to have automatic reactions to specific actions, which is a vital element of all martial arts. The beginner will learn how to stop an attack, then perhaps do one simple follow-up. The problem with this in reality is that if you don't repeatedly follow up, you keep the pressure on you and not on your opponent, since they will continue attacking. Let's break down what happened. If we look at it slowly, Adam launches a straight attack at me, which I intercept. Then he throws a couple more attacks, which I defend and defend. But because I'm so concerned only with defending and not turning the tables on him, he's able to apply the pressure and continue to hit and hit and hit. Learning to follow up will help you gain the initiative. And since Wing Chun is an art that relies less on power and more on high work rate and overwhelming an opponent, being able to repeatedly follow up is vital. So how can we train this? Let's look at a few key principles of Wing Chun that can guide you in deciding how you want to follow up. Forget what people say about always striking in straight lines and straight attacks are always faster than round attacks, because it's not always true. The real number one rule of Wing Chun is, when there is nothing stopping you striking, you strike, and you continue to do so for as long as required. In Lok Sau, after defending the initial attack, you have time to launch a follow-up, then a brief window of opportunity to continue to do so. How you will do that will be dictated by what they do with their arms as much as by what you do with yours. So now would be a good time to remind ourselves of another key concept in Wing Chun. In order for you to hit again and again, your hands need to be in a position to throw the next strike and the next strike. Therefore, it's important that when you throw one arm forward, the other always comes back. There are 3 reasons for this. Most important is that you always have a guard hand for protection if needed. Secondly, it means you always have another attack ready and primed, although you can and should also do multiple strikes with the same hand. And thirdly, having both arms forward often means you can be off-balanced or pulled out of your stance easily. Another key concept that will prompt you to do this pushing and pulling motion is the idea that when your arm is moved out of the center line, you immediately return to center. It can be done in various ways, but when following up, it generally means that if your hand is pushed out of the center, you return to it either by pistoning with the same arm or replacing the front hand with the rear hand, as seen here. When your arms are pushed across, you can of course do bong larp, but the chop is generally more easily blocked than punches. Although it does afford you different follow-up possibilities like trapping or park sau, etc. It's a commonly held belief in Wing Chun that if you can't hit high, hit low, and vice versa. If you keep trying to hit one part of the body, your opponent will cover that part up. So it's a good idea to vary your targets. You can do this by going from high to low, but also going from side to side. Mostly when doing Lok Sau, one side will attack and the other will defend. The attacker feeds an attack to their partner, and the partner has an opportunity to practice defending. Therefore, it's usually the defender that follows up. However, as long as both partners are fine with it, it can be beneficial and fun for the attacker to practice following up too. This means that if you don't know many techniques or fancier moves, you can just work the simple things that you do know into your follow-ups. For example, if all you know is Park Sau, Tan Da, or Bong Larp, launch a basic attack and just use those. Taking the initiative in launching the attack puts you on the front foot and so may make it easier to get into the habit of following up and looking for ways to do so. You can use pretty much any hand techniques, or even holds or locks, perhaps even legs. Don't be afraid to experiment and express yourself. There's no need to limit yourself to the basic attacks and defenses you learn when starting out. Do make sure both partners agree to involve less orthodox ideas first, though. If you follow all these points, it should lead to you being able to strike more continuously, dynamically, and fluidly. Please like and subscribe to help us make more of these.